there everybody, this is Amy. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. Today I am going to do a painting of a Forsythia branch on a green glass bottle. I am going to do this step by step for you, and I will be using a number 10 flat brush. It's a plaid one stroke brush, along with a number 1 liner. It's a plaid one stroke brush also. Paint that I will be using in this project are Wicker White, Pale Yellow, School Bus Yellow, Citrus Green, Thicket, and a combination of chocolate brown, which is actually a metallic, burnt umber, and I believe that's it. I also will be using a dotting stylus for the center of each flower. Alright, so what I'm going to do is start by dipping my liner brush into a combination of the browns and the wicker white. And I will just be doing an easy little branch that's going to come over the bottle, just the front of the bottle, and I'm just doing the front because I'm doing a video. If I were to be actually painting this design on a bottle that I would be selling, I would do it around the entire bottle, not just the front. Now you can use a liner brush or a flat brush, whatever is easiest for you to make controlled lines. And I want to make sure that these are actually very opaque because I want them to be nice on this bottle and not wash off easily. If you follow my videos, you know that I practice or preach to make your designs as opaque as you can, because the thicker the paint, the more resilient it's going to be as far as not chipping off, and be a little bit more durable, long-lasting design on your painted object. If it's an object that's not going to be handled and used often, it's not as big of a concern, but you still want it to be nice and for it to be around for a while. So that's why I encourage you to paint not too thick so that the paint bubbles. If you're baking it, you want to be careful of that too, because that will happen if it's on too thickly. Like if you're making dots or thick lines, sometimes those have a tendency to be too thick. One thing nice about this paint, because I do use the folk art paints, is that it actually can air dry and cure that way. My understanding, just by things that I've read, it's more durable if it's baked, but you can actually create a nice design and have it even with the thickest of paint and have it be around for a while if you're going to just let it air dry. Now with the air drying, it doesn't mean you can't touch it or use it really. They probably would recommend you not using it until it's completely cured. But if you're gentle with it and you hand wash it, it should be fine. I definitely would not place it in a dishwasher until it's been fully cured. Even with fully cured, I still feel like hand washing a hand painted item is probably the best route to go. But this paint is dishwasher safe if you place it on the top rack. If you place it anyplace else, bottom rack, it will, I can guarantee you, your design is going to come off. And that's not a, the chances are very high that you're going to pull your item out of the dishwasher and it's not going to have all the design on it, if it has any of it left, because that's just how powerful. If you're using a dishwasher that's considered commercial grade, that's something also I would watch for, because that means it gets even hotter than a normal dishwasher. I don't know if the cycles are longer too. If that's an issue, I have no idea, because I don't happen to have one that's commercial grade, so I don't have to worry about it. But I know some people do. You know, that's a big important thing to them in their households. You just want to be careful. If you treat it with kindness, it's going to be there for a long time. Alright, so I've got the basic branch design. Again, something like this can be created and painted with as many branches as you want, or as little. It's really up to you. I want to touch this a little bit. I just realized that this is not very thick, kind of thin in some spots. So we'll just go over it. If it needs touched up as you go, touch it up. If you want to hit this with a hairdryer before you start painting over it, you know, feel free to do so. I'm just going to go ahead and start loading my brush, double loading it. Actually, we'll be dipping it into the Wicker White, and I'm just going back and forth here and getting my paint loaded onto the brush. If I want to tip it into the lighter yellow, I can. If I want to do some blooms with the lighter yellow as opposed to the school bus, I can do that too to vary it somewhat. The design style that we're going to be using, though, just to get you started on a design here, is just pushing the brush up to a tip and then pulling it back. If you want to make the buds smaller, depending on the project you're painting it on, you can do that. I'm just creating as small as I can without getting too small, because I could actually use a smaller brush. But I've chosen to use this number 10, and I'm just lightly going over the branches because I know that the branches are not actually dry. I don't want to pull them up. I want to pull the paint up or try to alleviate that as much as possible. Now, since my design space is actually rather small, it's a lot smaller than my actual sample page was, because I do that on a regular size piece of paper. I'm just going to have to adjust for that. Just pull it up. When you're painting on glass, make sure that you do clean it well. Soap and water is recommended. Dry it well. Go over it with rubbing alcohol, just to make sure that any oils that might have come from your fingers or any other kind of dirt is cleaned off, even if you have washed it, just to make sure. It's better safe than sorry. That will help give your paint better adherence if you don't have a bunch of grime, grease and grime underneath on the actual glass. And then we'll just keep going here. And then just keep turning the bottle as you go. It's basically a 4-petal flower. I mean, you could use a round brush even. I'm just choosing to use the flat brush. And I'm just being careful to try not to pull up any of the paint underneath, so that would not be good. Now, this type of painting, you can actually do it where you have maybe 2 or 3 leaves showing or petals showing, and then you just kind of stack the design. And it can be more of a pointed petal. You can round it off a little bit. You can see on mine I kind of vary them somewhat. Some are pointier than others. Some are rounded. Some are just kind of touched and pulled. If you feel you need to have more than one coat, I would probably go over it with, go over it after you've given it some time to dry, maybe an hour or so, or hit it with a hairdryer before you put another coat over your flowers, just to be safe. Pretty easy design. Alright, I think I'm just going to, you can come clear down here and all. I think I'm just going to stop with the design part for this flower. And what I'm going to do next is come in here with this same liner brush and then throw in some petals. Not very big petals for this design, it's just basically touch and pull. And you can put them like towards the tip of the branches. Do them in 1 and 2s. You can put them towards the, like right here, toward the opening of the, it doesn't have to actually be on the branch. So I can come up here, actually kind of hit that wrong. But I'm putting it in the wicker, not wicker, but in the thicket and the citrus green. And then just kind of pulling them just so you can see them. And you can just sporadically come down the branch with it if you want, or just stick with coming out of the flowers and where there might be an intersection in the branch. There we go. See, pretty easy. And that's what I intend. Definitely have that intention on my designs, is I want them to be easy for people to paint. Don't want you to be afraid. Because the one thing nice about glass is that you can just wipe it off and go again. Very nice. So I like that part of it. I like the movement of paint on the glass. I don't know why I like painting on glass so much, but I always have. Been painting on it for a long time. Painted a lot of it too. Alright, so we have our little branch, and you can fill this more full of flowers if you want. I'm just choosing to do a few, just make it a little bit thinner, not so full of design, but again, that's up to you. I think I'm just going to leave it like this. But then I have to put the centers in still too, so don't let me forget that part. Centers are very easy. What I'm doing is just dotting with maybe probably 3 different colors, 3 or 4 different colors of dots. And just randomly dotting the centers. Don't have to have a specific amount of dots. Whatever you want to put in works. Yeah, you could even do one big dot if you wanted to. Or you could, I know on some of my designs I've actually started them out and then just like they're kind of pointed like a cone shape. But I thought, with this I would just do basic dotting. Since they're kind of all open, don't need to do anything fancy with them. And you could if you wanted. Now when you're done with your glassware, when you're done painting it, you should give it at least an hour air curing time before you bake it. Put it into a cold oven. Then you turn it on to preheat the oven. Do not place your glassware in a hot oven. It has to go in when it's cold. The sudden change in temperature is what can cause the glass to break. That's very important. Very, very important. So if you don't want your beautiful paintwork to be ruined, make sure you follow that. Same goes with when you're finished. When you're finished, make sure you allow it to completely cool down before you remove the glass. Very, very important also. That's just, got to keep in mind, it's the sudden change in the temperature that will cause glassware to break. Alright, so we're done for now. Very easy to design. Forsythia, which is, and stands for, because these are part of my wedding flower series, stands for anticipation. And of course in the spring we look for these yellow flowers to start blooming because that's a sign that spring is coming. Once we've had 3 snows, whether it's just flurries or whatnot, it's thought that that's the final snow for the season. So who knows if that's true, but I know a lot of us kind of go by that. Oh, the forsythias are blooming. We have 3 more snows and it'll be over. Alright, so here we go. Again, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. Make sure you hit that notification bell and the subscribe button before you leave. And then hit the share button underneath the video and share this with all your family and friends. I would appreciate it. I am definitely trying to grow my channel. Have any suggestions, comments, please leave those down below. And until the next time, you have a good one. See you then.